In the last section, we started talking about how we're going to develop a development workflow that's going to allow us to develop our application, test it in some fashion, deploy it, and then repeat that process all over again. So in this section, we're going to start talking about some more specifics around that flow. Now, I'm going to give you a diagram here that's going to be just a little bit interactive. So I'm going to add in a couple of elements as we go through this description over time. The important thing to keep in mind here around this diagram is that we're not going to talk too much about Docker's flow in this just yet. Instead, I'm going to focus on telling you about some outside services and outside technologies that we're going to use to set up this development workflow. Once we kind of understand the core principles or the kind of design behind this development workflow, we'll then kind of introduce Docker and talk about how Docker kind of facilitates everything. Okay, so let's get to it. Our development workflow is going to revolve around creating a GitHub repository. This GitHub repository is going to kind of serve as the central point of coordination for all the code that you and I are going to write, and then eventually deploy to outside hosting service. Our GitHub repository is going to have two different branches. One branch we're going to call the feature branch. This feature branch is essentially a development branch of sorts. This is a branch that you and I are going to add code to, make changes, or do whatever it is we need to do to update our application. We're also going to have a master branch. A master branch, it belongs to traditionally every Git repository that you might make. Our master branch is going to kind of represent our very clean working copy of our code base. Any changes that we make to this master branch right here are going to be eventually automatically deployed out to our hosting provider. Let's now draw on a couple arrows here to kind of walk through the process through which you and I are going to make changes to our code base and then eventually deploy those. So everything is going to start off with you and I on some local development machine, like your desktop or your laptop. You and I are going to pull all the latest code that we have from our feature branch. And so we're going to imagine that maybe you are working